As you know, today the director of our transportation department issued notices of intent to discharge several employees in his department. I will not be commenting on the notices or the intended discipline because I need to honor the city's civil service rules as well as federal law, which provides that the employees in question have rights to a pre-discharge meeting before any discipline is final. I asked for this press conference today for several reasons. First, I want to express my full support for the city manager in enforcing the city's administrative directives and rules of conduct. The process that he has initiated today is a product of his commitment to protect public funds and ensure the responsible management of the city. I also want to have this press conference today because today is the day that the notices are being served on the employees, and I wanted it clear to the press that we're trying to be upfront and open and as communicative as possible. I also want to express my confidence that our new Director of Transportation, Darrell Cole, who is with us today, can handle all the issues he faces in his new assignment, including these pending personnel matters. With the assistance of the city manager, Mr. Cole will lead a department that the mayor and council, as well as all Tucsonans, will be proud of. Although in our form of government, the mayor does not manage the day-to-day operation of the city, I speak daily with Mr. Miranda and very frequently with department heads as well as with members of the city council. The message that I want to deliver from the mayor's office and the message that I hope Tucsonans take away today is this: wrongful conduct will not be tolerated by any city employee in any department. We have a new mayor and a new city manager. Mr. Miranda and I agree that the hallmark of our administration will be accountability and responsiveness. We are trying to bring a new day and a new page to City Hall. I also want you to remember that the vast majority of city employees work hard and do a good job every day. We need to remember that and appreciate their service as I do. I'm now going to ask the city manager to come up and speak for a few minutes and introduce our transportation director, and then we will answer the questions that we're allowed to under the laws and stands. Mr. Miranda?
Thank you, Mayor. Sometime last September, I met with employees from the street department to discuss various operational and administrative issues. And one of the matters that came up was the following of administrative directives and the processes that go along with that. Subsequent to that meeting, employees came forward to express some allegations of misconduct that were forwarded to our Human Resources section, who recognized the severity of the issue and forwarded the information to the Tucson Police Department. The Tucson Police Department, upon their initial investigation, recognized that this was a major issue, that in some cases there was potential conflict, in some cases that there were issues that went beyond their investigative means, so parts of the investigation were given to external investigative agencies to include the state and federal level. As the mayor has indicated, notices to discharge were given to employees today, and they have 7 days to respond to that, and we are not processing information out to the public yet because of the respect for the due process issues associated with those notices to intent. But I must underscore that we do have further disciplinary action that does not rise to a level of termination, and that information will be coming out as we finish the administration of that. The big question is what is being done to prevent this from happening again. The issues that were presented to us deal with leadership and due process and control of finances and the association of project management. To deal with that, I brought in a new transportation streets administrator, Lucy Amparano, who has done an exceptional job of putting process and control into the streets administration. Mr. Tony Paez has been brought in as the interim director And he has also brought in control and process to the department that has been exemplary. But more importantly, I think the environment that goes along with leadership and control has changed so that the remedies and the prescriptions that are needed are being put in place. Over the last month, we have hired a new transportation director, Mr. Derek Cole, who comes to us from El Paso, who has a strong background in project management and control of projects. And that background and expertise was something that I was looking forward to in terms of a new administrator, so that the confidence and control of projects was there. As city manager, I'm disappointed in having to report this information to you and to our fellow employees, because on a daily basis, not only in the Department of Transportation, but throughout the City of Tucson organization, we have hard work being done and it meets the expectations of our public. However, when rules are not followed, the processes need to be put in place to make sure that quality service is being delivered to our community. As stated before, another positive step that was taken within the organization to deal with the issue was the hiring a new transportation director. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Darrell Cole, who will have some comments for you.
Good afternoon. Darrell Cole with, of course, the City of Tucson now. Got a lot of experience in transportation. Didn't have a prepared statement for you especially, but I can tell you, from what I've seen, I've been here almost 2 weeks now, you had a really good group in charge in this interim time. They've made some real changes in it. This has been a long investigation. I think you'll see it to move forward pretty quickly as we go on. I've reviewed considerable documents as we've gone on, and I think you'll see some actions being taken, as you've heard, and get the department back on and get some recovery and get the group back into working hard. You have a lot of really good employees. It's been quite obvious you have a lot of people who really care. They care about the city, they care about what's going on, and they really look forward to getting on with this. This has been going on for a little while now, and they're looking forward to going back to work and doing good work for the community as a whole. So I hope I can assist in that and help and bring some closure to these issues that we have in front of us, and go on and try to do work for our community in the best way we can. And again, thank you for welcoming me to the community. It's really been an honor to start here and work here. I grew up in Arizona, just north of us, many years ago, so it's really nice to come back to the desert. It's a beautiful place, and I look forward to a great career here. Thank you.
Any questions?
How many employees are we talking about? One, discharged, and two, the possibility of disciplinary action?
And Mr.
It's a
Rankin?
round ballpark number.
Well, I want to be as accurate as possible. What are we talking about?
It's about a half dozen now, and potentially more to follow, but we can't give you a certain number yet.
About a half a dozen will be served notices for firing. And what about discipline and other charges, demotions and such?
I can't give you a number on that yet.
Wide ranging, small number?
I can't give you a number yet.
What about the nature of anything details on money or the exact wrongdoing? I mean, it seems very vague.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't give that information out based on the legal requirements. And I will, just so we're all clear on this, it was my conversations with the manager's office to say to come here today and get this out to you as soon as possible, as much as we could. This is a very quick process. I believe that within the week, if I'm right, correct, Michael, these hearings will be had.
The meeting will be within the next 7 days.
And thereafter, those records become public and you will have all of it.
Giving us a dollar value for the wrongdoing, what that would amount to, wouldn't violate anybody's rights. How much are we talking about?
Michael?
Don't have a dollar figure for you.
How much did the investigation cost?
Don't have a dollar figure for you.
Could disciplinary action involve employees who are no longer working for the city?
Couldn't hear you.
Could disciplinary action involve employees who are no longer technically with the city.
We can only discipline employees who are. employed
Okay,
by
but I
the
mean,
city.
could it involve any criminal, wrongdoing or anything like that?
We're just talking about administrative discipline here. Can't comment on any criminal.
What other agency was involved in the investigation? You said the police did some, and there was outside groups as well?
They've asked that we not confirm their involvement yet at this point.
We earlier reported, and I think just about everybody reported, that what was happening here is that they were taking asphalt that belonged to the city and using for other people's driveways or their own. They were contracting out with private employers, et cetera, those kinds of things. When we have an outline of some kind of what the action was, what these people were doing that might lead to their termination, can you step up to the mic? It would probably be a bit easier.
Mike.
But all we can say right now is that the notices of intent to discharge have been served. The details of the basis for the discipline are included in those notices and those exhibits. But because the employees have the rights to a pre-termination meeting and the opportunity to meet with their hiring authority to contest the reasons for the discipline or the level of discipline, we cannot reveal the basis of the discipline until the discipline decision is final, which will be after that pre-discharge meeting in about a week.
Yeah, and now that I've got you up there, how many employees are we talking about? Can you tell me on camera? I'd like to know how many employees we're talking about that might be fired and how many employees that might be disciplined.
I can't give you a specific number. Again, we're going to respect the rights of the employees to have their procedural due process rights. Just to give you the feel for the scope of all this, as I mentioned before, what we're talking about now is about a half a dozen employees, but there could be additional employees as the investigation continues.
And you say the investigation is going to continue. What are you looking at beyond the initial charges? Are you looking for employees to bring forth other information while you go through this process?
That's a natural part of a process like this, is that it leads to other information. You want to track it all down, make sure that you impose all the appropriate discipline or not.
Now, we had a transportation director who retired, Jim Glock. Obviously, this was going on under his watch. Is he part of the investigation?
As I referenced in a question earlier, this is administrative discipline for current city employees.
And what about Kurt Huff, who was the head of the streets department? Is he part of this investigation? Is he one of those employees that you're possibly going to terminate?
As we described at the beginning of this press conference, we're not going to provide the names of any of the employees involved until such time as the discipline is final.
He has been placed on administrative leave, I understand.
You are correct.
And does that continue to today? Because that was almost a year ago.
Anyone who has been placed on imposed or administrative leave will remain on that until such time as a final discipline decision has been made.
How many employees have been on administrative leave?
I think we have five or six.
How much does that cost?
We'll have to follow up and give you.
Salaries though.
We'll have to give you that figure separately. I don't know that.
And Josh, I would say to that in this service, because in the governmental service by law, you get a property right with your job, which is unlike the private sector. And so these investigations need to be very thorough, they need to be very time consuming, and the rights have to be honored, which in retrospect, which we're not there yet, but in retrospect may not look right, but you just have to follow through those processes.
Are you concerned that with the potential bond election coming up, that this recognition and potential firings now for in the very department would negative potential impact on the
Yeah,
passage?
I have a concern about, and that's why I wanted to, as soon as I knew this was happening, get out in front of you and try to get the message out to the people that over the course of a number of months, and I think it's in the press release you have, the city management has done a whole lot to try to bring processes to the department that will make it so this can't happen again, and that things are running as efficiently and fairly as possible. And so we do want to get that message out that we are being proactive about this at this time, that if the voters will have the trust and faith in their own roads, not my roads, but their roads, that we will be able to deliver efficiently and with a good use of the money, absolutely.
The investigation started last September, you said? But how far back did the wrongdoing start, from what you know?
We're not going to comment on the underlying factual basis for the disciplines, whether it be timelines or the nature of it, until we release that information after the discipline is final next week.
Will this remain in the city attorney's office, or will it go outside the city attorney's office, say to the county attorney or something?
The discipline matters will all be handled through the city.
How about any criminal charges if those are brought?
We would not be issuing any of those through the city.
But they might be forthcoming from another agency.
Can't comment one way or another.
That concludes it. Good.
All right, thank you for coming, appreciate it.